We were born here, raised here, grew up here. For over 172 years, we've been building our businesses, our communities, our future. With over 4,600 employees in 211 Comerica locations, we've stood beside Michigan, funding nearly $230 million in community development loans because this is our community, and we believe the best way to build it is together.
Thank you, Comerica Bank, for your sponsorship of this, which is our fourth in a series of events for Detroit International Celebration. So we kicked off in early September. We kicked off with a celebration event during Welcoming Week. We had our first event, which was held at the International Institute, and it was Citizenship Day. So we did an instructional virtual presentation on the importance of citizenship and the steps in which to do that. We followed that up with then a cultural celebration, which we did out at Spirit Plaza. Had a wonderful day for the event. We're very blessed to have many Detroiters come out and join us, and fun was had by all. And I think it's going to lead us to a bigger and larger event next year. So really excited about that. And now we're at our fourth event, which is celebrating international entrepreneurship. So it's an entrepreneur seminar, and we'd like to thank Comerica Bank for sponsoring this segment today. I'd like to introduce you to my co-host. Before that, I am Roberto Torres. I am the Director of the Office of Immigrant Affairs and Economic Inclusion for the City of Detroit. The City of Detroit is honored and I'm very pleased to be a partner in this series of events. 2 years ago, we did Detroit China Day, and we brought the communities together. We wanted to have some reminder of that, and so we decided to do an international celebration. And so we've been very happy with the events thus far. I'd like to thank my two co-partners in this celebration, Lisa Gray and Wojciech Zonowski. So Wojciech, introduction and any thoughts?
Thank you so much. And of course, from top of my head, we bow humbly to the sponsors, the Comerica in this case, and to Dragon Legal TV for this opportunity to share this business entrepreneurship summit, focusing on Detroit or Entrepreneurship Detroit. And here, along with my colleague Rodney, who will, represent and pointed out to the resource that the Institute can provide to individuals who thinking about starting business in Detroit, immigrant or not. We are a very diverse platform, and the opportunity perhaps is much greater. And that's probably one of the series talking about entrepreneurship and economic opportunity in the city of Detroit. So along with the various, partners here and the presenters, I think we just touching, the drop in the bucket of enormous opportunity that city of Detroit offers to newcomers, but also to people who have this entrepreneurship spirit. So that's just to begin with, and I will have a chance later to introduce the program that we offer. Thank you so much. Thank you, Roberto, and let me pass it probably to Lisa.
Thank you, Roberto and Wojciech. We're so honored to be a co-host for today's event. And Dragon Eagle TV is a proud Detroit-based media and production platform under GL Media Group. The mission is to build a social, cultural, business, educational, and political bridges between the communities. The Detroit Entrepreneur Summit is to provide advice and resource helping new immigrants strive to the American dream. We hope everyone join in will be successful using the tools you will see today. Thank you to the International Institute of Metro Detroit and the City Detroit Office of Immigrant Affairs and Economic Inclusion for putting this event together. Thanks to Co-America Bank's support and sponsorship. Hope everyone enjoys the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you to Dragon Eagle TV. Lisa first gave me an invite to the New Year celebration, the Chinese New Year cultural celebration. And since then, the city of Detroit and Dragon Eagle TV, the Asian American community, has partnered in a number of events. I remember one of the first things that I learned about Detroit is that it once had a thriving Asian community, even called it Chinatown. And I remember an article in the Free Press that talked about where has the community gone. And there was a story that was there was a story in that article that spoke of young people who had come together and they wanted to bring back some of that Asian experience. And I was very interested because these were young people that had attended school here or had somehow looked to start a business and were interested in growing Detroit. And so I took the opportunity to actually meet with one of them, meet with the group. And two of those individuals actually started their own business. And they went through an entrepreneurship recently. They went through their own program and are going to now present their business. So we have Stefan joining us. And would you please introduce yourself, Stefan, and then talk about the business and also your co-partner in the business.
Yep. First, I want to say thank you for having me. Super excited to be on here. My name is Stefan. I am a Korean American immigrant. My business is called Ovideo Media. My partner isn't able to make it on, but her name is Michelle Nguyen. We are a media production company. We do video production, photography, design. And our goal right now is to focus on the agency taking care of our clients while also producing our original content.
Stefan, you recently did some work with the International Institute. They had a foundation that provided them with funds to be able to inform people about the immigrant community in Warrendale. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had a chance to help International Institute of Metro Detroit out with their project, with graphic design and then also with the website development. It was a great opportunity. Got to meet great people, learn more about the history, and what had happened with Warrendale. Learn more about that, dive into that, and actually visit while doing photography and get to talk to the people and help working with Wojciech and Anne and their team to write this up and help design the full report.
Now, my understanding when we first met was that both yourself and Michelle had actually worked for other companies, right? You work for other people. And so tell me, what inspired you to go out on your own and start your own business?
Yeah, so I come from a finance background and Michelle comes from a healthcare background. And we actually met when we both happened to leave the corporate world at the same time and venture off into the creative industry. Growing up, I always loved, film, music, and just anything creative. But just the upbringing, especially with Asian Americans, parents try to push you to go into business or become a doctor and so on. So I think I felt that pressure to go into college, study business, and go into the corporate world. But then eventually, I just really wanted to, I really missed it. And that's all I could think about. So nights and weekends, I would just go out, network, learn more about that. And eventually, as my clientele started to build up, and I couldn't juggle both a 9-to-5 and the side business, ended up making the leap. And same with Michelle as well.
And
here we are now.
Yeah. Well, congratulations for actually taking the risk. I mean, I guess that really defines being an entrepreneur, right? You took a passion and you took a risk along with that. Can you share with me one of the challenges of running your own business, and then one of your celebrations, right? One of the moments that you knew it was just the right thing to do.
The biggest challenge or the biggest struggle, I think it's always, especially with many startups, is the lack of resources, trying to learn and also operate the business side while doing sales and marketing, finding new clients, and also trying to get work done for the clients. So that was the biggest challenge. So it was about trying to, really setting priorities, being organized, and also, it's not just Michelle and I doing this now. We have a trusted team that we can start to delegate things to. And I'd say, just finding that right team and being able to work with clients like International Institute, that's the biggest thing that, one of our biggest accomplishments.
Wonderful. Well, we're not going to keep you any longer, Stefan, because as an entrepreneur, I know that that time is important to you. So give our best to Michelle and the team, and we look forward to hearing more stories about where your company is going. And congratulations for taking that risk.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring on our next entrepreneur. And Siobhan, actually, you're going to hear from Wojciech a little bit later. Siobhan is one of those young people that has worked with Global Detroit, has worked with a number of organizations in the community in Banglatown, and he's actually helped out other businesses. So he's helped out other small businesses, family businesses. And he comes from a family business background. And so he decided to venture out and be an entrepreneur himself. And so I'd like to introduce Siobhan. Would you introduce yourself, Siobhan, introduce the business, and tell us more about your concept?
Sure. Thank you, Roberto. And thank you for having me as part of this. My name is Siobhan Ahmed. I'm a community organizer, activist, worked with a lot of the people on this call right now, actually, throughout the years. My family immigrated here from Bangladesh. My grandfather first came to America before World War II, before our country even existed as it was. It was still under British rule at the time, so it was still a colony of the UK at the time. And my dad started a grocery store in Detroit bordering Hamtramck, so it was one of the first Bangladeshi businesses in Detroit. Mayor Duggan actually acknowledged it a few years ago as the first Bangladeshi-owned business that was started here. Currently, I work as a sales manager for Altria, and I'm pretty much serving as a business consultant for about 166 retailers in Metro Detroit. A good portion of them are in Detroit on the east and west side, and working out in Ferndale, Southfield, Oak Park, and a bunch of other cities out here. Prior to the presentation I'm about to show, I started a PR firm. I've had a few clients with that, and kind of slowed it down a bit because of the pandemic and grad school and everything else. So took it easy on that one, but I recently got another client with that. So I've been working with them and developing a plan for them. And the presentation I'm about to share is for my new concept or new plan. Basically, it's a co-working space for a building my family currently owns. And hang on one second, I'll pull up the screen right now. There we go. Oh. Okay, you guys can see this, right? All right, cool.
Yes.
So I'm creating a co-working space right here in the heart of Banglatown in Hamtramck and Detroit, basically. With the changes that have happened in the workforce because of the pandemic, I figured this might be a good opportunity to take initiative and do this. We're centrally located right on the border of Hamtramck and Detroit. We're trying to make an eco-friendly footprint. So, we're including solar panels and rain collection units just to help with offsetting some of the sewerage. that will come off from the building itself. And it'll be an affordable workspace for individuals and entrepreneurs. As you guys might have seen in the news, I just read it on NPR like 2 days ago about how much more there was an increase in the number of people not in the workforce or quitting their jobs. So a lot of people, the pandemic gave them time to reflect, and they realized, you know what, we don't have a lot of time to live. I want to chase these dreams instead of working the job. So I want to venture off and do it. So it's a really unique environment we're living in as an entrepreneur myself, with a business that is already in existence and starting another one, because I know there's going to be more of us out there. And the biggest niche, I'd say, is like attracting some of the immigrant business owners into this. Of course, the facility is open to everyone, but definitely keeping an eye out for that, especially with the location of the different restaurants, the grocery stores, the religious establishments. It'll be very attractive for the immigrant businesses out here in Banglatown, whether it's in Detroit or Hamtramck. Here's a little timeline of it. Rodney was one of my mentors through the International Institute. Wojciech is also part of that, and they've seen this before. So, getting the funding, renovations and everything, completing the renovations, getting the city's approvals, and, once it's up and safe and ready to go, marketing and expanding it to, other facilities across the city. The team, is a photo of my father and a photo of me. So my dad, he owns a dry cleaner. He's had that business since 1996. We're at 2021 now, so about 25, 26 years. Prior to that, it was that grocery store that my uncle runs, my dad's younger brother. So yeah, I've been doing the same thing as well. Let me stop sharing that. I just wanted to keep it brief to keep with the time for everybody else. But yeah, that's a little bit about that. And yeah, I'll hand it back to you guys.
Thank you, Shafan. We're going to come back. I'm asking you to stay with us, because we're going to have a Q&A portion to this to the telecast. So if you can just stay with us, that'd be great. Our next entrepreneur that I'd like to introduce is Bridget. And Bridget has her own a business, consulting business, and small business advisement. Met Bridget, one of the first people that I met when I first came to the city and wanted to get connected in the community. She's the community connector, and she's supported many initiatives, started many initiatives in Southwest Detroit, and has recently launched another initiative called Alianza. And so I'd like to have Bridget now introduce herself and her business.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to share some of the initiatives we are now. Due to the pandemic, we've actually been able to expand our reach. We've been in Southwest Detroit for the last about 6 years or so. And, but, because of the age of virtual workshops and virtual support, our reach is actually stretched all the way back into Latin America, because we've got people that are working remotely from outside the country. So that's really exciting for us to be here. I'm actually personally in Mexico right now, taking advantage of the fact that I work virtually most of the time, and I've been able to spend a lot of time down here throughout this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. So again, my name is Bridget Espinosa. I'm a bilingual business consultant. Spanish is my second language. And I've been working with the Hispanic community and in the Spanish language for my entire adult life. This is my family. I'm just going to do a quick little introduction about who I am. I've pulled slides from a previous presentation, so I'm going to fly through this pretty quickly. But so the name of my company is Puente Cultural Integration. As Roberto introduced me, I am a connector. It's kind of one of my claims to fame. And the word puente in Spanish actually means bridge. So it's a play on my name, but it also describes what we do. We are adamant about making connections for our clients, both nonprofit and governmental agencies, as well as entrepreneurs. Raised my children bilingual. My husband is from Mexico originally, and both my boys, the whole family, are all Spanish speaking. I'm also a translator and interpreter, the executive director of a nonprofit organization, an entrepreneur from the time I was 11 years old, and we are currently the leading agency providing technical assistance to Hispanic immigrant entrepreneurs in the state of Michigan. So during the pandemic, I went from being a direct consultant to nonprofit organizations to launching some additional programming completely on our own. So although we still are contracted by nonprofits to do projects, we are not employed directly by any one agency anymore. And but the need for what we were doing along with the nonprofits continued to happen. And so in February of this year, we launched a program called Business Alianzas. And Alianzas essentially is a robust referral network of small business owners and government agencies and nonprofit organizations, banks, CDFIs that work together. We are stronger when we connect to one another. We currently have about 135 members of Business Alianzas. And through the work we do with Alianzas, we started looking at global problems that we could help to address using some of the tools that we have. And so one of the things that came up in working with Wayne County was that people were not utilizing their certification programs. So in speaking with their procurement office, we decided to launch a pilot to support women-owned businesses to get their minority-owned, women-owned certification through Wayne County. We had a pretty successful pilot. We had about 25 women participate, and we're still all in the process of getting our certifications. In addition to that, one of the other challenges we saw, and entrepreneurship is all about finding a problem that you want to solve, right? And so as an entrepreneur who happens to also work with other entrepreneurs, we looked to programs that we could support large groups of people. And so one of the demographics that I work with are food entrepreneurs. And for those of you who know Southwest Detroit well, you'll know that we're known for our taco trucks. And one of the things that my team was seeing is that our immigrant entrepreneurs were struggling with marketing their products and services outside of their neighborhood. And so we launched Food Truck X this past spring. I believe we currently have 17 or 18 trucks are listed on the website now. So it's foodtruckx.com. And we provide robust marketing for those food trucks. They are members of Business Alianzas, as well as being part of the Food Truck X directory. And then with my travels to Mexico, I'm in a little village called Puerto Morelos that is about 20 minutes south of Cancun. And they also same issues with our Mexican community here. The primary audience are American and Canadian expats, and the marketing was not geared towards them. And so we just launched a couple of months ago a new platform called experiencepuertomorelos.com. And again, it's going to be a robust referral and marketing platform for the small business owners to help, again, to connect them. So I have a pretty diverse team. Most of us are in Detroit. I just hired my first employee in Mexico, and that's pretty exciting. And then I'm not sure how I'm doing on my time. I have a tendency to talk too much, so cut me off, Roberto, when it's time to go. I wanted to give this example of kind of what we did in the pandemic. And we developed a team of trilingual outreach, and we've tried all different ways to reach our community. We used to go door to door before the pandemic, and when the pandemic hit, we had to change that strategy. My team was making approximately 300 phone calls a week to entrepreneurs. We've got about 500 businesses that we've worked with over the last year and a half, 2 years. and everything that was COVID related, grants, loans, executive orders, restaurant protocol, MyOSHA rules, etc. We did 85 hours of bilingual instruction online on Zoom to help people access all of these resources and help to kind of put all of the paper that was coming through in a way that was comprehensible and accessible to our immigrant community. And and obviously we've developed a lot of new programs. And so my staff kind of put this presentation together and shared one of our examples of a food truck that launched, over the last couple of years. So Roberto, I could go on, but I have a feeling that you've got other things that you want to cover. So let me.
I'm gonna ask you. That's a great presentation, Bridget. I'm gonna ask you to stay with us because I'm sure that we're gonna have some questions to follow. Bridget brought up the importance of entrepreneurship programs and entrepreneurship training. You heard from Bez, Stefan, and you heard also from Stefan. And each one of them had a tie into the International Institute, or they mentioned some connection with the International Institute. Well, recently, through funding from the National League of Cities, the city of Detroit and the International Institute put together a training program. And so to speak on that program, I have Wojciech, and I believe he's going to have his team as well step in on the presentation. Wojciech.
Yes, thank you so much. One more time, Wojciech Zolnowski, I'm the director of the International Institute. But I'm not going to speak about the Institute because it would take hours to tell you the story about 100-year-old agency. What I want to focus on, and I pass it on to my colleague Rodney, he gives you the specifics, but we as the Institute for years, we always aim to be a resource, either to individuals who need programs that help them to become financially independent, self-sufficient, and employable. But along with the individual programs, we always try to establish a resource for business entrepreneurs. And, as you know, immigrants are very entrepreneurial, and that's, Stefan mentioned, Shafwan mentioned, and Bridget indicated. I mean, that's in an immigrant blood too, and that's a family tradition. You wanted to have your own business, even if working for corporate America, culturally, people always have a little mom and pop shops, a little, small business, fixing places, things. That's what we known as immigrants. But we wanted to create a platform. And since we talk about Opportunity Detroit, this program is first ever offered in the city of Detroit, and I believe in the city of, in the state of Michigan. But our philosophical approach was, great American entrepreneurs, they do not necessarily finish the college. Look, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, he dropped out of college, and many other stories of a successful business, small or bigger. So is there anything alternative for people who have this brilliant idea of, as Bridget indicated, we wanted to fix the gap. Somebody has an idea to fix the gap, but how? What are the logistics? What is the marketing, the resources, like Stefan indicated? How can I reconcile why I'm working on a client's portfolio? How do I deal with all of those things? So what, with the support from the city of Detroit and the partnership National League Cities, we were able to launch this Kaufman Fast Track program, which is ideal program for people who have idea, have passion. I think that's the biggest drive. But we want to make sure that, end of the result of this program is why they're learning the tools and exposure to various programs. As well, they, creating a business plan. So what Rodney will share with you are the key components of the program, and also he will announce a new cohort, which will start, I believe, January 12th of next year. So having said that, let me pass to my colleague, Rodney, who is, as Shafwan indicated, he's the mentor, but he's also the facilitator, and he will tell you the nuts and bolts of this one unique program in a city of Detroit, Opportunity Detroit, the Kaufman Fast Track program. Rodney, I hand it out to you.
Thank you, Wojciech, and thank you for inviting me to present about the Kaufman Fast Track program. Wojciech, I think you have control of the PowerPoint. I don't have control of that, so I can't change the slides. So I'll just go through it, okay?
Please let me know when you want me to move to the next.
I will do that, okay. Well, pretty much like Wojciech said, we had our first cohort last spring through the summer of the Kaufman Fast Track program, partnered with the City of Detroit, Roberto's office, and it was a success. You know, first class, so it was trial and error, and a lot of different things, but we were able to have a strong, robust curriculum through the Kaufman Foundation. It was kind of hands-on, that was able, especially in time of pandemic and virtual learning, it tied in pretty good that we were able to present the clients and the people of the class the curriculum and provide them different forms of learning. Okay, in the class, we were successfully graduated 8 individuals out of the class, and we had 6 business plans. That was solid business plans was developed, so that was a good start. And we hope to next time, increase those numbers, but for the first time, we can't complain, okay? So pretty much the class is divided up into 5 sections. You have the I-date stage, the position, the commit, the refine, the launch stage. Click, rotate. Click it. Okay, so if we go into the closer look on the different, each phase is set up with different learning points and different tools through that. And so the I-date stage pretty much was about the entrepreneur lifestyle. They're pretty much taking their vision and pretty much they want to be entrepreneurs. So there's exercises around that concept. And pretty much we're trying to take them through the first section of trying to take them from an idea to the business concept. So they're pretty much taking their idea and develop that into the business concept. The second phase was position phase, where we learned about the marketing research, business model design, pricing strategy, legal strategy, and business exits. During this stage, we learned curriculum, but also I was able to have guest speakers involved in this stage that I was able to contact with some lawyers, to figure out exactly if they want to be an LLC, if they want to, be a sole proprietor, to figure out what kind of business they're going to be in. So we were able to partnership with some lawyers. We were to partnership with SBA and to also just business owners that came and also that gave us insights and their success levels in business. As you also see, the next part of the course was commit stage, where we talk about how to reach the marketing, how to distribution of sales, projections, cost projections, and pretty much complying with law, regulations, and contracts. Again, our legal attorneys that we had, Wayne State was a partner through their legal clinic, and we had a couple private attorneys that actually came in and guided the students through that section. I think they got some good insights on how to take those concepts and to help them formulate as they get ready as they're starting to write their business plan. Okay, we'll check. Okay, so the next refine stage, okay, they start to talk about how they're going to build the organization, a team, different roles, responsibilities they're going to have in the business, who's going to do what. They did forecasting their cash needs and how they're going to make a profit. A lot of people go into business, and in this stage, you see a lot of people, they want to make a lot of more money, but they realize it takes time. So it just gave them a chance to analyze exactly see where they were at and how they go forward. Okay. And basically how to seek funding, how to be able to present to lenders, how to be able to have a strong platform when they go present to lenders. The last stage was a launch. And launch, how you're going to lead the organization and how you're going to launch your business plan. Basically just getting down to measuring, analyzing, finding results, and how to really process this. But in this stage, go ahead, we'll check. This stage, the biggest goal of the program was them to come out with a sustainable, solid business plan. So after they went through all the coursework, this was ongoing. They have workspaces in this curriculum, because I thought was pretty neat that as you work through it, you're always adding on and building to your plan. So this page, they were able to start, basically analyzing their business plan and develop that sustainable business plan and going from there. So there was a lot of tweaking at that point, and just basically figure out this. Some people realize that their idea they started with wasn't really what they really thought it was going to end up be. So some going a different direction, but that was okay too. But okay, so. And as Wojciech stated, we will be having another cohort starting in January. Start date will be January 12th, and it'll be a 10-week cohort, like we said before, pretty much as it was before. We use the fast track curriculum, and we also will be having guest speakers and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to that program and getting it started, and hopefully that we'll have continued success and building on and having great students like Chef Juan and others come back and give what they learned in the class, and and going forward. All right, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rodney. So the whole idea, and as you see, we cover all of the nuts and bolts of having idea turning into a sustainable plan so you'll be successful. Because as you know, data, 2% out of all of the startups only are successful. So with this one, either we help to cement, strengthen your idea and make it sustainable, that is, you can go and pursue investors. Or maybe, as Rodney indicated, we had a couple of students that says, look, maybe we need to change the idea because the plan is too broad or too narrow and there's no market. So nowadays, all their business plan, location, because of a social media platform now, those things are not necessarily relevant. It's more of are you fitting the niche? Are you fitting the need? Are you providing the service that is needed? You will find enough, a lot of data analysis. Are there demographics to support your product and your services? And the answers are when you're taking the course, and that helps you to streamline the process, that all of the variables. I strongly recommend it. But we are here to assist not only with this resource, but also, Institute is there to offer a space for the startup businesses that we've been successful in the past, and we always do our best to provide assistance. As I said, opportunity to Detroit, just come and knock on our doors. With that, let me pass it back to Roberto.
Thank you, Wojciech. Thank you very much. And thank you, Rodney. Thank you for the presentation. So I'd like to now open it up, and I know that my co-host, my colleague, also has some questions, but let me start off with the first question to the entrepreneurs. Each of you presented a cultural aspect when you spoke about your business. Do you find that utilizing your culture has been an asset in your entrepreneur endeavor? In other words, does that separate you when it comes to the services that you offer? To both Shafwan and Bridget.
I didn't know if Bridget wanted to go first or not. I was just waiting.
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Yes, Bridget. So each of you, yourself and Shafwan, mentioned the cultural aspect of your business. Mm-hmm. And so my question is, do you find that that focusing in on culture can be used as an asset in your business? Does it differentiate you from your competitors when it comes to the field that you're in?
100%. I mean, we really specialize and we stay focused on our mission, which is to ensure that the Hispanic community has equitable access to resources and opportunities. So, I've had lots and lots of opportunities and have been offered, positions and contract work to work in other areas of entrepreneurship that didn't directly affect the Hispanic community. And I always turn those down. To me, it's the most important part of what we do and why we do it. So it's the why we get up every day, right? So it's 100%. And we spend the majority of our time with our clients, although we do have clients from all ethnicities. We certainly don't turn people away when they come to us, but I would say, probably 50% of our clients are immigrants and 75% are Latino. And we spend I would say the majority of the time that my team spends directly one-on-one with clients is spent helping them to access resources and access opportunities. And it's being that liaison or that advocate, that link, language link and interpreter for whatever is needed.
Thank you. Thank you. Chiffon?
Yeah, I'm going to echo in agreement with that. It's definitely separated me from the pack, I would say, for sure. Not just having a similar background and the language, but also the understanding of the culture and the cultural norms. That's really helped me with my day-to-day work on my job, and also, with connecting and engaging with the community as an organizer and as an entrepreneur.
Thank you. Lisa?
Hello.
Yeah, Lisa, did you have a question for the entrepreneurs?
Oh, no, go ahead, Roberto. You just carry on.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
Another question that I think would be of interest is, in order for one to be an entrepreneur, there's this. I guess there's this mindset that you have to have there's a certain number of dollars that you have to have set aside in order to start your business or your concept. Did either you go in with a set number of what you needed to do to start your business, or is that not one of the considerations as you look to do to put your concept into action?
Chiffon, do you want to start with that?
Sure, I can. With this Detroit co-working center, I did have a set amount of money that I would need to get started, and that's something that I was able to get guidance on through the help that Rodney provided with the Kauffman Institute's training. The other businesses I've started, I didn't really have a lot of funds or anything like that I needed, because a lot of it was just off of my professional skills, in the PR and marketing field. So that was more based on me and my abilities. And if I had to outsource anything, then yeah, that would be backed on as needed. But since, I've started the PR firm, it's grown a lot, and I was able to, factor that in the beginning, but I didn't have a lot of overhead or anything like that. Whereas with this one, because it's a brick and mortar facility, yes, I do have a set amount that I will most likely need. It might be even more now because of the shortages in supplies when it comes to renovations and, drywall costs, lumber costs. I mean, that stuff's been skyrocketing left and right for over a year now. So definitely something that I am keeping in mind moving forward with this business as I look into funding and continue to do research on it.
Bridget?
I'm a service business, and so I had zero capital going into this. I built my own website, learned how to do that, and did, some things like that. However, when I speak to entrepreneurs, the majority of the businesses that I work with, I would say the two major industries that I work with are construction contractors and food-based businesses. And contractors can get started with very little overhead, startup costs. But looking at startup costs for a food-based business, it's can be astronomical, especially if they're going to be trying to open up an actual brick and mortar restaurant. It's one of the reasons why we started working with food trucks, because it requires a lot less capital investment. But just to give kind of, I'm not sure who's tuning in here, but just to give people a little bit of an idea about the cost of running a business in the city of Detroit. A food truck right now are running anywhere between, let's say, $30,000 to $100,000 for a food truck. It is possible to get financing on that because you're actually purchasing, a resaleable equipment, and so it's a little bit different than getting a space. But trying to open up a brick and mortar restaurant right now, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't actually recommend it right now, just because of everything that's happening. The margins already are so tight that it's not a great industry to go into right now. But the food trucks are doing actually really well. It's been an interesting process of watching them put it together. But yeah, absolutely. The majority of the businesses, if you're going to be selling any kind of a product or you need a space, you need a substantial investment. I don't think, most businesses, I don't think you can open them for less than $100,000. So it's something to think about. And if you don't have access to credit, that can be a problem. And that, I think, it's a large challenge with our immigrant community. I'm sure Shafwan can attest to this as well, that the majority of our immigrant clients are what we call debt averse, meaning that they don't like being in debt. They don't like to take on debt. For some cultures, it's actually against their religious beliefs to owe somebody interest and to owe money. And so it's been a challenge in today's day and age for some of our immigrants to actually access the capital that they need, because it's not necessarily that they have bad credit, but they just don't have a long credit history, either due to the short amount of time that they've lived in this country, or the fact that they would prefer to pay cash for their cars and their homes or start their business. They don't have a long credit history. And so it brings on an added challenge, because the traditional way of doing business in the United States is to use other people's money. And that's normally not the case with our immigrant community. They might take out a small loan from a friend or a family member or something like that, but most of the time they're doing it with cash.
It's interesting that when you speak of the cultural influences, a lot of times we think of cultural influences as a market, like there's a market out there, whether it's a Latino community, an Asian American community, Arab American community, but we don't often consider how that culture is going to influence a business composition or how a business is made up. And so there may be some non-traditional ways that a business could get started. And so when it comes to supportive services, we need to also be attentive to those challenges or barriers that may exist.
Actually, I have a question here, Roberto. Actually, I was wondering, how to utilize government resources. Is there a certain government agency or agencies that entrepreneurs should keep in mind when they start their business? I think you probably can answer that question.
So Roberto, if you don't mind chiming in, and it's a combination or alignment with what Shafwan and Bridget mentioned. I think that yes, being the immigrants that the interest averse, and it's what we experience is not just businesses but also home mortgages, loans. So that's why. But I think and answer Lisa's question. There is so many resources, and since we're talking Opportunity Detroit, SBA, Tech Town, we have those great universities that offer, various programs that can help entrepreneurs. I think, and especially the immigrant entrepreneurs, I think what is the common denominator among our immigrant communities that, they depend so much on their own knowledge rather than seeking opportunities. On the other hand, I think us as the Institute, your office, and everybody here on this panel, I think we have to figure out, similar to this summit is about Opportunity Detroit, to spread the message, or maybe use additional trusted source in the respective community, mosque, temple, churches, chamber of commerce, to speak the language, because I think leading to the Lisa's question is like, I don't think the immigrant entrepreneurship or immigrant seeking startup businesses taking advantage of a tax credits, tax opportunities, various other incentives, grants, and federal, like we have a Metro match and so forth. So there is a list of traditional funding sources, and many, especially now due to COVID, there's additional resources for those for specific industries. I think maybe the message is not there, or the message does not resonate with many immigrants to seeking those opportunities, in my humble opinion.
Thank you. Good points, sir, Wojciech. Good points. Anything from Bridget and Siobhan on that, on use of any governmental programs or institutional programs that are out there that an entrepreneur could avail themselves to?
Siobhan, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I can add to it because it was touched on a little bit earlier. Yeah, within my community, within the Muslim community in general, not just the Bangladeshi community, when there are loans with interest, we do not try, we basically avoid taking those on. In many cases, such as like home purchases and things like that, for example, we really have few options. I mean, there's more of them than there were about 10 years ago, but yeah, that is one thing that we're very averse around, is when it comes to interest. So many times it's like loans taken out, or like money just pulled together within the family or within the community to help, you know, either start a business or, you know, purchase a building for a business or purchasing a home, things like that. So definitely something that exists out there, and it just goes to show how diverse the city of Detroit is, you know, not just culturally, but also with religious beliefs and personal beliefs.
Yeah, so I've worked pretty closely with a lot of the government programs. Pre-COVID, we worked extensively with the DEGC on, you know, Motor City Match, Motor City Restore programs to help provide grants to offset the cost. But one of the requirements of those grants were that they have a matching loan. And it was an issue, and I brought it up, you know, time and time again, that our immigrant community, you know, isn't looking for a loan. They were, you know, a lot of them have access to cash. It might not show up in their you know, current bank statement, but there's you know, there's a lot of mattress money, let's be frank, right, in the immigrant community. And like Siobhan said, you know, they pool together their resources. The community helps one another. If, you know, one person in the family is starting a business who can employ 10 people in the family, you know, everyone kind of chips in to kind of help move that along. And so I actually found that our government programs hindered our immigrant business owners more than they helped them, because of the amount of red tape that was required, and again, the kind of that requirement around lending. I recently just spoke to one of the officers at the DEGC, and he assured me that policy is changing dramatically in this next round of grant funding. We also worked extensively in partnership with Global Detroit to help business owners access the PPP loans with the SBA. And that was very successful because, for one, the interest rates were very, very low, but most of it is because the PPP loans were kind of promised to be forgivable. And so we, you know, most of our clients did not trust the process in the first round, and almost none of them applied. And when we came back to them and said that, you know, we were able to provide that technical support through a grant that was given to us from Global Detroit, they trusted us to help them with that process. And so I think that's a really important kind of the message, I guess, is that these trusted connectors that we have become within the different communities that we support, that relationship is so imperative to ensure that our clients, you know, do receive the opportunity. So, and we were able to get, I think it was $185,000 for immigrant businesses. The average amount was very small. And as far as I'm aware, 100% of that has been forgiven already. So we're really, really pleased with the work that we did. And we worked really closely with a CDFI that's based out of Grand Rapids, but that has a Detroit presence, called the Opportunity Resource Fund, And they were phenomenal working with our clients and answering all of our questions. And if there was any issues with the applications, because it was a hands-on, we weren't dealing with a large national platform, and everything was done by hand. We also worked with a small credit union in Southwest Detroit called Alliance Catholic Credit Union. They were also able to support, and I'm actually really proud to say that we were actually able to get funds for some of our undocumented folks. And so that was a pretty major step that I was not expecting.
One of the outcomes of this whole COVID experience has been that people many have changed the way in which they normally go about their business, and some folks even just right out change occupations and started their own business. So I guess my final question would be, do you feel that for an immigrant entrepreneur, that this new post-COVID environment has created more opportunities for services to be provided? And I say that knowing very well that you now are currently in Mexico doing international relations, right? So you're selling Detroit to Puerto Morelos, and likewise you're selling us to them. So it's so I asked that question. So do you believe it's a new day and it's good for immigrant entrepreneurs?
100%. I think one of the things that the pandemic did is it shone a spotlight on resiliency and grit. And also, I think a lot of businesses that were just kind of floating along doing what they had always done had to really take a look at what they've been doing and learn other ways of communicating with their customers. We have spent the majority of the pandemic, aside from helping with technical assistance and loans, grants, and things like that, helping people really shore up their marketing, because the way that you get customers is different than it used to be. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity available for that. And immigrants in general are scrappy, and they are problem solvers, and they're willing to see a challenge and take it. And that's what we're all about. We're here to help them do that. And the other thing that I've noticed is that we have had more LLCs registered and more people formally employ people that had previously either been cash employees or 1099s than ever before. I think we've done, I think we've helped people like 70 LLCs in the last 18 months or so that we've helped get started. And I think people are trying to formalize their side hustles and turn it into authentic businesses now.
Well, credit to you, Bridget, because I know many people who have come into contact with you have launched their own ideas and their own business concepts. So you yourself are creating opportunities out there. So continue to do that. I'm going to ask for last words from Shafwan and Wojciech. Anything on post-COVID that you want to share?
Sure. Shafwan, well, so Shafwan, don't mind me. So I think post-COVID, I think there's enormous opportunity. I mean, I think that's the spirit of immigrants, to be innovative, being adaptive. But what I see it, because as a representing institute, we work not only with individuals, but also with employers, constantly seeking, and there's a huge employment, businesses that have creating a business opportunity, especially in the area of the healthcare, that we have an enormous shortage. And as well, I get calls from hotels. There is a shortage of maintenance staff, cleaning staff. And for high skill, there is shortage of individuals in IT, especially cybersecurity. So if there is anyone, if there is any business concepts that somehow address those niches, healthcare, especially nursing. I mean, look, Henry Ford closing beds, they bringing Taiwan nurses, and so for healthcare, cleaning businesses or maintenance businesses, and cybersecurity. those are the three niches right now that, sky could be the limit.
One?
Yeah, a lot of people within my community have reached out for guidance on starting up their businesses or getting it formalized and things like that. One person that comes into mind, it was actually a caterer, and it was during my sister's wedding a few months ago. This past summer, he wanted to start a food truck, so I got him connected with some of the resources that I had regarding this. So definitely a shift happening. As Bridget mentioned, some people are formalizing side hustles. Some people are actually trying to grow their side hustle as a full-time gig, just because they have a bit more control over, their own safety right now with the pandemic out there, happening, I should say, and the variants out there. So definitely it's going to change a lot of the landscape out here in the city and in the country. It already has pretty drastically, and preparing to see where it takes us next. So very interesting to see where we're at right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you to Wojciech, our presenters, to Rodney, to Bridget, and also to Stefan for their presentation and their experiences on their business, and then their vision and hopes for what the next coming days, weeks, and years will present. I'd like to have a closing comment from my co-host, from Lisa Gray, and then also to give one more thanks to Comerica's. Lisa?
Hi, thank you so much for all the presenters, and they did a great job, and I even learned so much personally. And I thank to our partners, Roberto and Wojciech, and for putting this great event together. And thanks for everybody joining to hopefully they can take away what they need from today. And also thanks to our sponsor, Comerica Bank. Thank you for everybody. It's a great event. I'm turning into Wojciech.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Lisa. If you just bear with me for 1 second, because I don't know what happened with the video that we wanted to play. Just 1 second.
Are you talking about the video from Comerica Bank?
We were born here, raised here, grew.
Okay. Okay, so as a last thing, as Lisa indicated, we want to thank the sponsor, but we have a short video to share with the audience. So I have a little, because I don't see the play. Okay. Where's the play button?
It's in the center.
I know, but the center is covered with the Zoom screen. You see, I can't get to the play button.
Hit the enter button. That might help make it work. I don't know.
Enter.
On the keyboard.
Oh.
We were born here, raised here, grew up here. For over 172 years, we've been building our businesses, our communities, our future. With over 4,600 employees in 211 Comerica locations, we've stood beside Michigan, funding nearly $230 million in community development loans, because this is our community, and we believe the best way to build it is together.
Okay, Roberto, pass it to you.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes our presentation for this evening. We thank all of our guests, our presenters, my co-hosts, Lisa Gray and Wojciech Zelnowski. And we invite you to one of our final events. We'll have more information out on that. And thank you for helping us celebrate Detroit International Celebration and the Entrepreneur Summit. Good evening and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.